Hello and welcome back to the U Up podcast. I'm Jordana Abraham.
And I am Jared Freed. It is so good to be back here with you, Jordana. How are you?
We're back from Europe.
Back from Fra.
Yes.
Ibiza. Foggy London town.
Yes, which was not, it was quite hot there.
It's hot all over the whole globe.
I have a special,
might be warming.
I have a rant.
Rant it up.
I had an amazing time in London, but I have several rants about my trip.
It's a Jordana episode.
And I'd like to just say that if I'm coming across weird this time, I got back last night. I'm a little jet lagged. I texted my sister this morning to wish her a happy birthday a full month early by accident.
You messaged Olivia O'Brien by accident.
I accidentally sent Olivia O'Brien a waving hand emoji, but literally just because I didn't lock my phone.
Yeah, well,
I'm having a weird day.
I noticed that you came back. This was like cutting it. You were coming back to tape this, I'm assuming, right? Which is great. Thank you.
Of course.
The whole team here is appreciative of you being here.
Yeah. And London was great. Mike came. He had never seen London, so he came in. We had
Mike. All the pictures of Mike I would describe as
me being like, I'm
cute
taking
as
a picture.
fuck. Yeah, it was very much like everything looked like you were like, turn now.
That's basically what.
Yeah. It was great. He had his first, pint. He's having a martini. He's at the museum. It was very much like Mike's first trip abroad.
Yeah,
which
I felt like I was taking my son on vacation to see London.
It made me happy.
But we had a great time. So, couple rants. I'll start with the easy one.
I love a Jordana rant.
London, this is not me making it up. This is what people have told me, is never really gets that hot, generally speaking, because whatever the climate is, it's usually more cold than hot. It's always rainy and kind of chilly.
It's more San Francisco than it is New York.
So this was like a particularly weird weekend.
Well, I have also been to London when they tell you it's unseasonably hot.
Yeah.
And
maybe it's not unseasonable. Maybe they just tell that to everyone.
Right.
I never like this.
I think it's unseasonably hot for 20 years ago when you remember being a kid with no bills, like nostalgia-wise, but the world is changing,
gotten hotter,
obviously.
Yes.
So,
and they're not equipped.
They're not equipped.
They're not equipped. I was flying out of Heathrow yesterday. There's no air conditioning
at the airport.
The airport.
No. That's.
I am sweating.
It's a no from me, Doug.
Literally, I'm just drip sweating in the. I'm like, how do you people live like this? How do you not have air conditioning in the airport?
Of all places, the place where you're the most rushed, the place where you're the most nervous, the place where you would be most apt to sweat. And it's what's annoying is. And to add on, if this is going to be the luxury lounge, so to speak, where we can complain freely, we get dubbed complaining Americans about the AC. It's like, we're doing it right.
Yes.
You're doing it wrong.
We're equipped for this modern world.
Right. You need to up your game. If you were at the perfect temperature all the time, wouldn't you complain when it's not perfect?
And it's one of those weird things where I was like, am I crazy? Because everyone else just seems to be acknowledging that it's 80 degrees in the airport.
At the airport, who do you go to? Who would help you? It's hot in here. You just scream to the heavens. If you went up to the Delta gate, they'd be like, cool.
Well, yeah. I couldn't wait to get on the plane where they had the air.
Where is the CEO of Heathrow? I don't even know who you would talk to.
It was just insane to me.
It is always insane to complain at the airport. There's no
no one cares. Yeah.
No one cares. No one's going to help you.
Yeah, I mean, you had your own airport misadventures in Cannes, I saw, with the security and the gate. With the security line and the lounge, and the lounge was under construction.
Don't get me. Well, the thing is, again, another thing where it's where's Mr. or Mrs. Airport CEO? Where is this person? Because there was no sign at the Nice airport to let you know that the lounge was under construction.
Right.
So you go through French customs, and then you go to the international gate area, and you're expecting to see a lounge, and there's no lounge, and there's just chairs. And one place to have a croissant.
Right.
So I am sitting there and it was funny because I'm I ran up to looking for the lounge, and I'm looking around and there's no door, there's no nothing. And on the app it says it's next to gate B27.
And then you go.
So then when it wasn't there, I'm well, I then I was like, okay, I'll go back out to like the mall, and they're like, you can't go back out. Like,
and you have to go through security again, which is
security.
crazy.
I'd have to go through customs. Are you claiming anything? Well, I'd like to eat.
Right.
Like you can't. I'd like to go into France to use your lounge. Is not a good reason.
Feels how coddled Americans are. Like we need.
Yeah.
I put this on my story last night. I was watching Meet the Parents on the plane.
So is this rant 2?
No,
Have we moved on from rant 1 yet?
We have moved on, but it's just what you were just saying reminded me of. You expect Jinxie to wander the streets without food, water, or toilet? It reminds me of like us in the lounge.
Right. How could you
expect
this?
Jared to wander the airport without food, water, or lounge?
Or toilet?
Or lounge?
Yeah. I mean, I camp out in those lounge toilets.
Yeah, you make yourself a little camping ground.
That's right.
Yeah.
Put my phone on the table.
So my other rant was about
rant 2.
Rant 2 was we tried to see Taylor Swift.
So you tried. How hard did we try?
Okay.
And it was at Wembley.
It was at Wembley.
So which isn't like in the city confine. It's like it's out there. Yeah.
Right. So here was the thing. I'm a Taylor Swift fan, but I'm not like a mega Taylor Swift fan, which is kind of the worst place to be.
Well, here's the thing.
As a Taylor fan.
I agree because you're never enough.
Right.
And you're not there to fight the battles.
Right, but you still like her.
But right. I enjoy Taylor too. I've listened to the albums. Like I put it on when she has a new one come out. I'm interested.
Right.
She's gotten so big that like it's now just I gotta say that I was at the event. It's Michael Jackson's tour when the Bad tour. Like it is that.
Yeah, it has cultural relevance.
Right. So the idea that like anyone who's like a medium fan, even less than that, would be like, if I could go, yeah, why wouldn't I want to see what this person can... I mean, she's doing also, like, kind of... I mean, from everything I've heard of the concert, like, it's a physical feat.
Yeah.
That
I think she's on for, like, 3.5 hours, which no artist does every night.
Me included.
Right? I mean, 3.5 hours. She has, like, 40 songs, which is crazy.
I'm not comparing myself to Taylor Swift, but I am. Okay? I do an hour 10, hour 15 with this new set. I get done. I need to like,
and you're not even like dancing.
No, well,
I mean,
okay, I do a little dance.
You but you're not.
But I'm not like, yeah,
you're not. You're not doing a choreographed dance.
Totally right. I mean, I can't imagine how good a shape she's in.
Yeah, well, I heard to prep for this, she was like running on the treadmill and singing and like doing all this.
She's
crazy
never drank
shit.
alcohol, right? Like she's not a drinker.
They were out till like 4 a.m. I saw her and Travis.
Okay, I actually we're gonna put a pin on this. Remind me, I have a question to you about the Travis thing.
Right,
go on. Please.
So Saturday we keep literally up until while we're like prepping for this trip or while we're talking about going to this trip, we're kind of like, should we go see? Because we didn't go there. A lot of people flew in for this concert, as they do, as you're seeing people are flying to Europe. A lot of Americans.
She's a whole economy.
Right.
I've made fun of it on my Instagram. I'm like, there's there's classes of people. I've like people who have gone to the Taylor Swift concerts and people, it's on Betcha's account right now. And it's very interesting to hear like people don't like to be called. I've figured out the most offensive thing you could call someone in 2024 is rich. Like, it's like literally the most offensive thing you could ever say to people. People are like, no, it's cheaper in Europe. And it's like, oh, taking a week off from work and flying abroad.
Right. Is you factor that into the price?
Right.
Yeah.
That's cheaper. And I understand, like, yeah, it's $2,500 to go in Indianapolis. But, like, to like the idea that you're not doing well.
Right.
If you can afford, the joke is if you're going to a Taylor Swift concert, you're probably doing pretty well.
Yes. Even if the tickets are cheap, you still have to like. It's still expensive.
Change your life. A fraction of your year is Taylor Swift.
Right.
Like and listen, I think I'm okay. Sometimes I feel crazy. I'm like, I'm okay saying I'm doing well. You know, like in the world of
tacky.
I'm a tacky bitch. That's right.
Gaudy. Not old money.
Not old. No.
Not old money.
New as fuck. New AF. But I'm saying, like, it is so interesting how, again, and I have my theories as to why. Like, you know, we live in a victim culture where like you can like victim your way to the top. That's how you can win on TikTok. Is like, you know, if you're the rich people are crushed on TikTok. No, there's no worse thing. Right. On TikTok than to be rich.
Yeah.
Unless you're a famous son of someone and then they don't care because you're cool.
Right.
So, I'm sorry, my side rant to your rant. So you're deciding whether to go.
So we're deciding whether to go.
Jordana's sitting in her mansion in Long Island, debating.
I liked her new album. I have a few different I loved a few different songs. Mike is not. He's like he thinks she's fine. He's not like swayed one way or the other, but he wants to see Wembley Stadium. He likes it. He likes to see a good stadium. It's very weird.
I'd like to see the structural.
He does. He likes
to see how they built this place.
He like is more impressed.
That's
by
a hilarious fake reason to go. Yeah, Taylor's playing. It's like a very dude reason.
I guess it's the same stadium they play soccer in.
Yeah,
or something.
It's a famous stadium.
I don't know. Maybe he's bullshitting, but he seemed almost more into going than I was. I don't like crowds. I don't really like. I'm not a big concert. It's not even a Taylor's. I'm not like a huge concert person.
Me neither.
I don't like being in a crowd. If I go to something as the person you were just describing, I like to be in like a box.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest.
This is the most relatable dating podcast on the internet, by the way.
So the tickets for GA standing are like at $1,200. They're like $1,200.
Okay, not cheap.
Or something like. Oh no, they were like $2,000 when we were looking, and I'm like, okay. I don't really feel like we need to pay $2,000 to go to this.
Listen, life is a mathematical equation,
right?
And actually, that is a preview of today's podcast subject.
Yes.
There's a lot of questions on that kind of made me think of. Life is like you listen. $2,000 is a number.
Yes.
The minute you put emotion on the number is when it changes.
Yes.
The emotion on the number 2,000 to some, that is cheap. And someone listening right now will be like, that's cheap to who? And it's like, well, there's your emotional state. You know? So,
and that was a discussion we were having.
Right.
You know, like and we both kind of said.
As an economics major, I enjoy this discussion.
We both said 2,000 is not. We're not the level of being into this enough to go for $2,000. We'll see if the price comes down the day of.
Right.
The day of, it's not really coming down. It comes down a little bit, and then it's like 5 p.m. The show starts at 5 p.m. It's like 5 or 17 o'clock, as they say in Europe.
I don't think they do the o'clock.
17 o'clock. What do they say?
Now you're Mike outing himself. Yeah, I'd like to see the structural.
It's 17 o'clock.
I'd like to see how the beams work at Wembley Stadium. What time should we go? 17 o'clock? 1,700 hours?
So we're 17 o'clock.
I don't know how they say it.
I don't know how
I'm
they
making
say
fun
it
of it.
either. Whatever. It starts at 5.
Nothing makes you feel.
We're in a park. Yeah. We're in Hyde Park, which is like 2 stops away on this tube from from the stadium, and we're debating. And
you're like getting closer and closer to the stadium as you debate.
We're still debating. He refreshes Vivid Seats, which is where they resell the tickets.
Right.
And he sees 2. This is after the show has already started, and they're like 1,000 for 2.
Because now it's coming down. Show started. You're missing part of the set.
And now we're like, we look at each other. We're like, let's just do it.
All right.
So he buys the tickets.
Yep.
And we're like, all right, let's like head there. We're like, it started already.
Get on the tube.
So now it's like very spontaneous. We're kind of on the high of the spontaneity.
I'm into it.
Thing.
I think this is great. This is new married couple.
Yeah.
On a European adventure.
Exactly. And we're like, let's do it. So we get on the tube, and we're like going the 2 stops. At the same time trying to like figure out how to download the tickets now that we've bought them.
Right.
So there's no service under there, so we're trying to figure out how to download it.
And the tube is very good.
And then we finally figure, when you have to reset the password because you don't even know how you originally you put the password in. So we're resetting the password. We're trying to get into like the system to get the tickets. We finally get in just as we arrive to like the stop where the station is. It's like a 15-minute walk from there. We get off, and it says waiting for the person to send you the tickets.
That's crazy.
Apparently on Vivid Seats, this is whatever the opposite of a shout out is.
Right.
Unplug City. Unplug City. They've replaced. This
is Castletown, USA.
This is Castletown.
Welcome to your fucked Vivid Seats.
I have pardoned JetBlue, and Vivid Seats is the new company that I will destroy.
Well, this is weird because that's like...
And let it be known, if you are watching and you know anyone there, I will find you.
Wow. Wait a minute. So that's weird. So they have to like contact the person and be like, hey, we found someone.
Well, yeah, they're like, the person has to send you the tickets, even though they just charged us, right?
Yeah, I don't like that.
So I'm like, and we're at the subway station. So I call the company, I call their customer service, and they're like, yeah, the guy has to send it to you. I'm like, but I already paid for the tickets. I'm like, the show is on. It's like, It already started.
Right.
They're like, yeah, well, he has to send it to you. I'm like, well, what if he doesn't send it to me? Like, the show is now. Then they're like, well, they, give him a little bit. And I'm like,
give him a little bit. And Taylor's singing.
And I'm like, well, what if he doesn't send them? He's like, well, then you'll get a refund. I'm like, well, what if he sends it 4 hours into the show.
Right.
And I'm already at the stadium. Like, what? I'm not going to just wait around for them to send the. How do you
Right.
not have to upload the tickets to the thing?
Well,
for them to send it to you.
It's probably part of the explanation that like a Ticketmaster has as to like why they charge so much or something. I don't know. I'm guessing
this is
like
supposed to be like
because
one of
it's
those
an outside,
resale.
it's a third party. It's a resale market,
Yes.
but then
But to
they're
me,
not.
they're
I do
charging-
understand where you go. Well, who? It's a chicken or egg.
Well,
Like
here's
who
the
should give in first? But
But
I don't know.
paid. That's what I'm
But
saying.
you
They should be
paid-
uploaded, and then if someone pays, they automatically send them to you. That's not how they work.
Right.
So,
they
and
should give up their tickets
yes,
to be put on there.
If you're going to put them
yeah.
up, then you should be having to.
It seems flawed.
It's extremely flawed, and to me, so then I said to him, I'm like, well, what if they don't send them until the show ends at 11? What if they don't send them until 10?
Maybe this is their grift.
And
is
he's
what
like,
you're saying.
and he goes, well, you got to read the fine print. Then that's. Then
What?
that happened. I'm like, are you fucking joking?
Is this customer service?
Yes.
Or
I'm like, is this? So this I'm like, so this is a scam. I'm
Yeah.
like, if I'm gonna pay you guys $500, part of that, it's $1,000. $500 of those dollars
Right.
are fees that are
Right.
paid to you.
Right. You're the
whole
service.
point. If I wanted to be scammed and take a chance in paying $1,000, I would have put it up on Instagram. Who wants to sell me a ticket?
Right.
The whole point of using your company is that you make sure I get the ticket.
Right. You're the deliverer.
Right. And this guy's like, well,
Was
you
he
got
British?
No, he was like in India.
Oh.
And he did
See,
not
I
give
wish
a
he was
shit.
British. Cheerio! I said cheerio.
Oh, and he was
Yeah.
so. I was like, because I was like, he was trying to explain it. I didn't understand. I'm like, I'm confused. He goes, why are you confused? And I was like, okay.
Well, because I've lost
rude.
my money.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, well, then I want to cancel the purchase. He's like, well, we don't do cancellations. And I'm like,
He's got you.
so then I'm calling Amex to like have them cancel
Yeah.
the charges. He refuses to do the thing, and then Mike is separately like doing the text thing, and then
Mike's looking at the structural.
he's watching me like become
real you.
the version of myself that he finds. What did he call it? Unbecoming. Unbecoming.
There should be. I'm sure you're not alone. I would assume outside of every Taylor Swift concert, there's like 70 people just screaming at their phone.
Yeah.
At something. They
Yeah.
should have a little area,
And the
like a
worst part is,
smoking
like,
area. Like
we had already gone like to the
Yeah,
station.
you're there.
And then I was so irritated the entire night.
did you get them?
No. We just can't, like, they finally said that they would request to cancel them. I don't even know if they charged still.
Hey.
But I was just so irritated. Fucking Vivid Seats, don't ever use them.
It's
They're
over for
scam.
you.
They're scam artists.
Well, the problem is, it's who else do you go to? They might be
think
the
there's-
only show in town.
Isn't there like, there's another Ticketmaster
Well,
or
Ticketmaster-
something like that?
yeah, I don't know.
But to me, it's like if you're going to charge that much money in fees, all you need to do, you don't even produce a product.
Right.
You don't even
and
produce.
and it needs to be right away. The service is that you've created a marketplace that like gets these tickets to people directly. Right.
Yes, no matter when the show
Right.
already
if
started.
you sell them after
it
the
should
show
come
starts,
immediately.
you should know that this is an issue that could come up.
Right, they should be like a warning pop-up or something.
Right. Or, hey, we need to like take your tickets now and half the money
Right.
from you. We'll give them half the money to get. There
Yeah.
should just be some sort of way to do this that is
Totally.
someone smarter than me could come up with.
Because
right.
to me, it's like, what am I gonna? What was my other option? To wait there for potentially hours for a
Right.
ticket that might never come, and I'm
Like-
just gonna be standing in front of the stadium.
Also, it's not like they give you the number of the person selling it. Like you can't like call them.
Right. And
Right,
they're like,
like
we've
how-
asked them to send it to you. I'm like, well,
And what? How do I know it went to
Okay.
spam?
I don't
How do I
know.
know? I mean, who checks their email? You know, like on a
I
Sunday.
mean, you would think us, the person who posted that ticket.
You would think.
But here's the other thing: is like if you lowered the price that day, then you've been on the app that day because there were no tickets at that price. That's why I didn't buy them. Anyway, I'm still worked up over it. It probably took a few years off of my life, but Vivid Seats, I will come for you.
Rant 2.
I will.
Okay,
I will
we will
find you. I will find you.
Ms. Vivid.
we jump right-
Let's jump right in. Now that we've got you all
Sorry,
worked
I'm
up.
all hyped up on whatever virus I've got
Right.
and
well,
Vivid
this,
Seats.
this is
anger.
the thing. Like this is why they tell you to travel. Like you should travel. Like you got to see who you are. Like people who don't travel think that they're great and never have an issue. And
Do they?
I think like traveling makes you a little humbled.
Right.
It makes you aware of other people and how other people live. And, you know, I mean, these people listening, there's people listening right now in London sweating their asses off with no AC. Like,
Right.
you know, they live differently than us. Us.
Exactly.
Kings.
We're coddled.
We're coddled. We are. I mean,
Yes.
this is, No, I've done shows in London on unseasonably hot weather weeks when they've told that to me. There's no AC in the showrooms, like the theaters.
Yeah.
So it's like
we had that in San Francisco.
We had that in San
Remember
Francisco.
in that stadium. It was like the one extremely hot day of the year, and everyone was like sweating in our show. And
they said that everyone's like, we and you didn't know how hot it was until everyone in the show was taking their red flag deal breaker paddles and like waving it at themselves, and we're like, I guess it is hot because we're on stage. You don't know if it's just us.
Yeah.
We're too hot on stage.
Exactly.
The show is too hot.
But I mean, happy 4th of July almost.
Hold on. 4th of July. We have 4th of July. Happy 4th of July. I was thinking like life is gravity. Everything we say, there's an inverse to it that is helpful. I'm here being positive single Jared. Okay? That's this is where I stand my mindset. On this podcast, we have talked about beware of holidays, birthdays, global pandemics, and
some other shit.
Tax season is a new one, thanks to Divya's episode.
Yes, tax season.
Well, these are all
season.
Festival season, whatever it is. Yeah. Beware of holidays is also be excited for holidays.
Yeah.
This is the time to meet someone. Like July 4th is the time that you're going to be around friends and friends of friends. There's barbecues. There's, going to the water, whatever body of water you're going to, you are out. This is out of the house season. If you're sitting here single and sad, which you might be, that's okay. I'm not here to like shame you for that. What are you doing 4th of July?
Go to a party.
Do you got your red, white, and blue? Do you got your outfit?
Friend of a friend's party.
Are you putting yourself out there today? If you're not, then you're not helping yourself. And I'm saying this to myself too. Like I'm
right.
This is
what are you doing 4th of July?
I don't know yet, but I was thinking
you mean the Hamptons, right?
I'm going to be in the Hamptons.
Right.
Yeah, I'll be out there.
Like the douchebag that you want
That's
to
right.
like you've wanted to out yourself as.
I've been hoping to be this douchebag my whole life.
To be
on the Hamptons for the 4th of July.
Weekend to be there.
Not Hampton Bays.
West Hampton.
Which
is not Southampton.
Not Southampton.
Which is better. Still solid.
Listen, we're working our way through the Hamptons. I'm just saying, like, this is the time to meet. This is where you meet someone. This is the time. This is the friends of friends. And I'm not just talking about, like, I'm not saying in the classic way. Like, I'm saying in the, I met this great couple, and now they've opened up my world to their 200 friends.
Yeah.
And I think, like, are you a fix-up person? Are you a person to be fixed up? Are you a person to be introduced? Are you a person to think of when are you fun? Like, if you're not...
I think that really is all it comes down to. Do you seem like someone who's fun and having a good time and has a good, like, vibe?
Good vibe. Because
that's someone I would want to be like, this is someone I need to introduce to someone else I know because they're a good time.
And I would say, like, I'm not telling you, like, to love the 4th of July, but I would say, like, hating the 4th of July, like being like a negative.
People hate the 4th of July?
I don't know. Just like people just like think it's like the better move to like be negative because that's like a more fun way to be.
What's to hate about the 4th of July?
I really
maybe top holiday for me.
Yeah, it's summer Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Yeah, no gifts for anybody. Eating. Right?
Yes.
That's Thanksgiving. The greatest part about Thanksgiving is that you have to do nothing for anyone else.
Right.
And that's 4th of July as well. You get to
Unless you're throwing a party.
Well, thank you to those party throwers.
Yes.
But I'm just saying, like, this is a good holiday. This is a single person's holiday.
Agreed.
This is what a holiday, again, beware of holidays.
The
also,
summer New Year's.
For single people, invite the holiday. Beware of holidays to single people, too. Everything I say beware of for a breakup is also why the person gets broken up with. Right. I want to be single on 4th of July. I don't want to... I don't be around this fucking person.
I just can't be tethered when there's going to be so many fireworks.
There's going to be so many people. All these hotties in red, white, and blue bikinis.
Yeah.
I don't know why every imaginary party is a Bud Light commercial to me.
I've definitely been in Montauk for 4th of July and made some bad decisions, but like in a fun way.
Right. Bad decisions lead to meeting new people, lead to variables.
That's true.
It's all good.
Yeah.
And if you're out there and you're going to be in the Hamptons this weekend, I'm there. July 6th.
What's
There's
the
very
venue
few
called?
tickets. It's called the West Hampton Beach Performing Arts Center.
Ooh.
I'm sure some kooky rich aunt sells her jewelry next door.
Is it like July 6th or something?
July 6th.
Okay.
So it's, I mean, the most expensive weekend I could ever have to like stay on the Hamptons.
So you know the whole crowd is going to be, you can make all your rich people jokes.
Oh, and I got a lot. And I'll be wearing my hat, as you can see
In
on
the
YouTube.
Hamptons.
I don't know. I'm debating. The hat.
You do. You look like them. Like you look all American in the hat.
Do
will
I?
say.
Is this an all American?
Yes,
I'll take
I
it.
would
That's
say.
right. All American.
Yellowstone, a rancher, Yellowstone rancher.
So I'm also going to be Brookfield, Wisconsin. I've added dates: Atlantic City, Newark, Sacramento, Sacktown, Cleveland, Indianapolis, Austin, Raleigh, St. Louis, Batavia, Illinois, which is outside of Chicago, and Rochester. I don't know if that's on my calendar yet, but I'm excited. I'm on the road. I've already started working on new material. I'm going to Nashville tonight. That's why I'm wearing the hat. If you're watching on YouTube, the hat has made its first appearance on the show.
Bring your hat to work day.
That's right. Bring my hat. Look, I got the.
What does it say? It says, "Some people have children. I brand hats." Did you put that on there?
Yes.
Wow, love it.
Also got my initials on the side.
That's so funny. It's a real warning to anyone who thinks you might commit. I'm just imagining you're hooking up with this guy. You think like this could be the one.
This guy, the hat made me gay. Oh,
no,
the woman.
The woman's
okay.
hooking up with you. She's like, oh, like I see the future. She's emotionally masturbating. Oh, his hat's on the. What does the hat say? I'm never gonna commit.
Next, I should have put something like that under it. Like,
don't fall in love with me, kid.
That would be great.
That would have been funny.
Let's get into the show. Let's jump right in. Yeah, listen, we don't want to dance around. We don't want to not jump into this great show.
You got a flight to catch.
I got a flight to catch. I'm going to Nashtown, Steve Nashville.
I don't know how you do all this traveling. It's exhausting.
It is tiring. I'm excited right now. I don't know. I'm feeling good. I'm like.
Do you feel like refreshed after our trip?
You know what? I do. I
do too,
really do. Don't you?
Yeah.
It
was such a good time.
It was such
How
a good time.
How was Ibiza?
Ibiza.
You'll have to tell. Maybe Sunday episode.
For
you'll
another
tell the story.
episode,
Okay.
Ibiza. I'll tell the
Sorry,
story.
we did a lot of me.
No, I wanted the rants. Okay, we got more rants to come.
More rants to come. But that's the best part of this trip is we built up a stockpile of rants that we can just throw out at our leisure.
Right. I didn't talk to you when we walked in. I was like, I want to get this on the show because Ibiza.
Ibiza?
Ibiza.
Is there anything more embarrassing than saying Ibiza?
It's really embarrassing, especially in this hat. Can you imagine? It's Ibiza. What are we talking about today?
All right, let's get into it. Hi, Jared and Jordana. Thanks for your always funny and insightful podcast. I had a crazy chemistry via FaceTime with a guy I met on Raya earlier in the year. He, 31, lives in Rochester, New York. They let people in Rochester on Raya?
I don't know about that one.
And I, 36, am
He's
in Toronto.
The local bar mitzvah DJ.
The biggest celebrity of Rochester.
I'm coming to Rochester. Please come.
Oh my God, you're fucked.
The town that invented the garbage plate, really not known for its Raya.
I'm not coming to Rochester. I can talk some shit.
Yeah, you can talk shit. There you go.
All right. When we first started talking, we FaceTimed a few times for many hours each time. And honestly, the sparks and butterfly feelings were totally there on my end. He's a professor. They're letting professors from Rochester on Raya? What happened to this app?
Well, all the apps start in a place of like, you know this.
Right.
Every app starts
with we're elite. Not everyone can get on. You have to be hot and educated and shit.
Right. We're the one that does this. Look at what's going on with Field right now. I downloaded Field just to see. Like,
you told me, yeah.
I told you. I've said it on this podcast.
But they don't pretend to be exclusive, do they?
Well, it's supposed to be it started in the idea that it's the
niche.
kinky. It's the I'm going to be out there with my sexuality and the things I'm looking for. And then if you go through the bios, you can see people put like looking for a spicier hinge. And it's like, no, bitch. No, you're not. You're not Field type. Like I want, Hinge. I want a dating app, and this is a place where I'm going to find people. Like, it's just you're not looking for spicier hinge.
Do you feel like people are co-opting your your sexual deviance?
My fetish site? No, I went there as an observer. Like, I'm not even like matching with people. I just went to like, I gotta see. Like, I'm interested. I'm curious. You and I are curious about the dating world. So I went and looked, and I'm just like, it's just really funny. Like, someone DM'd me the other day, or they didn't DM, they sent a question to my box on Instagram.
That's what she said.
That's what she said. Oh, I whisper questions in the boxes all the time. Why won't you come? So she wrote, what should I DM a guy who has 500,000 followers? And I was drunk and I got annoyed because I looked at her profile and it just was like a private account. And she, again, we're all judging. I looked at her picture. It just was like a nice woman. Like, and it wasn't like she was like, I'm not even going to get into what she looked like. It just looked like a very nice woman. She doesn't want to DM the 500,000 person.
Yeah. Like, she doesn't know what she's getting into.
Doesn't know. And also, like, what do you think is going to happen? John Mayer's going to be like, let's go for a date and I want to learn everything about you via the one picture I had.
What about Neve? Remember when he was on this podcast? That's how he met his wife. That's something I would be clinging to if I were.
Well, that's, again, the extreme answering for the normal. And also, I don't know what his wife, again, the chances of
They might have started off just down to hook up.
You don't know. Yeah. I'm just like, if you're like, where's this going to go for you? You're wasting your time and energy.
It's
and
funny.
It's like you think, and she's like, well, and
it's almost like the female cat call.
Right.
Right. Where you're like, you think this is going to work, but like you hear about one guy who it worked for.
Well, I mean, yeah. And it's like, I use John Mayer as the example, but then it's like, no, this guy's nice. And he's, a professor who has 500,000 followers. It's like, yeah, that guy thinks the women sliding in his DM is looking to fuck him too.
Right.
And looking for casual, not looking, listen, you might go on a date, but I don't know if it's going to be the date. You're just not going to get
unlikely
the version of what you want out of this.
Right. Okay.
That's all to say.
So anyway, the professor from Rochester on
Spice Your Hinge is. Yeah. It is funny when I see Spice Your Hinge. I'm like, oh well, this app's done.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I'm like, it's like me on vacation. If I'm there, it's already more expensive and old.
It's not cool anymore.
It's not cool anymore.
Right.
If I'm on field. Jared Freed. I will say this to give shit to myself. If I am on anything, it is old and not cool.
Right. I mean, look at me. I just sent Olivia Rodrigo the hand. TikTok is over. TikTok is over. Yeah.
Olivia O'Brien.
Olivia O'Brien. Sorry. The other Olivia.
We loved her.
All right. I hoped he would make plans with me, but whenever he did, he would cancel, but weirdly always provide me with a valid excuse and show me proof. Screenshot, a picture from the function he had to stay late at of why he canceled. Weird. Or he'd offer to drive the 3 hours from Rochester to Toronto spontaneously, even though it'd be like 8 p.m.
Offered, didn't do it.
Then one night we FaceTimed and he surprised me by showing up at my door while we were on FaceTime, albeit at 11:30 p.m.
Okay.
Cute or creepy, depending on, I guess, how into him she is, but she sounds pretty into him.
I know what's going on here.
We drove around my neighborhood. There was no way I was letting him up. I like how she thinks that's a flex. Okay.
You're not coming into this bedroom. Okay.
And after 45 minutes, he dropped me back off at home. I gave him a hug, and that was it. Since then, it's fizzled, and we don't speak by text or FaceTime anymore. Like so many guys who fizzled, he's the first to like, comment, and view every one of my Instagram stories. Right. As I'm writing this, I see how silly and obvious it is that he was just not that into me and likely dating someone else. But why blow super...
I like this emailer. Can I start?
Well, let me finish.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. We're laughing at her, but I like her.
Yes. She seems funnish. But why blow super hot on some occasions and cold on others? Why drive 3 hours to my place? Any and all insights appreciated. Sincerely, not his ride or die. Can we clarify? Please. When he comes to see her, that's the first time they've met in person?
It seems like that.
Okay.
I take it the same way.
Right.
He's made promises. Hey, I should drive there. Never did it. And then he does it. And shows up at 11:30. Toronto to Rochester sounds farther than it is. They're in the same vicinity. It's a 3 hour drive. It's a 3 hour drive. But I'm just saying, like, it's not unheard of.
Have you done more for sex?
I can't say I haven't. But What do you think? I'm sorry I interrupted, but I do think what she's asking a very relatable question.
Right. Well, I will say one in-person interaction is more meaningful to me than 15 FaceTime text,
Agreed.
whatever things.
Yes.
So I do think there's something about an in-person interaction can make or break, like, if it's on or not.
Right.
I'm going to start with that. Again, let's ignore his motives just for the time being.
Right.
Or like analyzing his
Right.
motives. But I do think like sometimes like you have a good rapport over text or even FaceTime, and then you're in person and it's just not the same.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I think that's an option. But let's go back to her question of like, why would he play it hot and cold and then,
Right.
or why would he come in so hot if he wasn't interested?
Right.
And to me, it's like the fact that she doesn't let him up when they come over shows, it's kind of like her showing to him that I'm looking to seriously date.
Right.
And he was not, then he gets that answer. And that's why he's like, well, I'm not going to drive 3 hours to Rochester. I was kind of just looking for this to be like a fun hookup thing.
Well, even less, it's her need to vilify is so interesting to me. That's what makes me laugh.
That he has a girlfriend?
He's got a girl. He obviously didn't like, just not that into me, and likely dating someone else. That's a little bit of creative. She's taken creative liberties.
Well, the dating someone else thing, I believe, I agree, creative liberties.
Could be.
But he's here's what goes through your head, because she's not thinking in the animalistic sexual mind of a man.
Okay.
She's like, it's that if he wanted to, he would thing. She's kind of like, well, he clearly doesn't like me that much because he doesn't want to like come up to Toronto and like date me.
Right.
So
well,
like,
well, yeah.
So in a way, she's like, he's not into her enough to do that.
To me, that's like a very dramatic way of putting it. Like you're being harsh on yourself.
But that's her way of like placing it somewhere.
Right. I would say that like men date like someone who's really hungry and binge eats.
Okay.
And I would say that this is what this guy did. You met on Raya, you start FaceTiming, it's hot and heavy, because that's how dating works in the beginning. Mm-hmm. It's always hot and heavy, talking and exciting. The only reason you kept talking to each other because the vibe was good.
Right.
She's not really admitting to the idea that this was dating. Them talking and FaceTiming was them dating. It was a first date. Those were your first dates. I don't think they matter as much as the in-person. I agree with you.
Right.
But this is you guys getting to know each other.
Sure.
And the longer you get to know each other, the more real it gets. And that's really what happened here.
Well, that's why she's correct in saying you're just not that into her.
Well, he's
in some ways
realizing, again, this is, to me, let's make it math. Mm-hmm. He's going, and I think what happens with a lot of men is you binge eat, and then you go, oh, I probably shouldn't have done that. Mm-hmm. So, and I'm not apologizing for that. I'm just telling you, like, she asked where he's coming from. Oh, this is hot. I'm showing up at the door. And now we had a really nice time tonight, but I'm realizing that the next time I show up at our door, it's got to be for a date and we're going to be serious.
Right. Because she didn't let me up.
Because she didn't let me up.
Which is a good thing.
And it's a good thing. Not letting you up, great. I'm in favor of that. I'm just saying, like, he was dating you. It's funny that she's like, the dating starts when we get together and have that date.
Right.
And then we figure out if we want to be together. To him, the dating was happening from meeting on Raya. Oh, this is hot. I'm into it. I'd love to fuck her. Let's see what happens. And then the let's see what happens comes now with, actual consequences.
Right.
Like the let's see what happens. Like, again, I'm not saying he wouldn't, it would have disappeared after showing up at your place to fuck. It's a possibility. It's probably a good possibility considering how it went
the other way. Yeah.
He disappeared the other way. But the other way that he disappeared was actually the respectful way to me.
Right.
Because he goes, oh, okay. I saw how I felt after leaving there. I wasn't madly in love. I need to be.
She lives 3 hours away.
She lives 3 hours away. Do I want to work on something from 3 hours away when it took me this much to get to her tonight for date one? It didn't really go the way of, fun and casual that would allow me to keep going or that I was looking for to begin with. It could be, both options could be true. To give empathy to this guy. That I don't think he's like, look, I just wish we could fuck and I'd never talk to her again. Like that would be like a really mean way to look at someone.
Well, that's the worst side of the spectrum of the possibilities. Right, yeah.
So I'm thinking from my perspective, I have been in scenarios like this. Where, listen, I can speak to this. I match with someone. We speak over. We fall out of contact. I get a DM heart the DM, we start chit-chatting, and now we start texting, and the texting's building.
Right.
And they're far away, and you go, and then it becomes, hey, we got to cool, and then I've sent a text where, hey, we should cool off. I don't know. I'm just letting you know, like, you know, I know how, because I would say, I know a first date is going to go well with me. I'm confident enough to know that I'm going to, like, we're going to go to a nice restaurant, we're going to have nice drinks, we're going to have, like, fun.
Right.
And that can get carried away. I'm just letting, like, my issue comes after that first date. I go, okay, just like this guy. I go, well, what's the math on this? Do I want to? Do I
want to see Taylor Swift?
Do it right. Do I want to spend $1,000 on Taylor Swift? Do I want to spend $2,000 on Taylor Swift?
Right.
What is the cost of entry? And she is not acknowledging cost of entry to you. Like, you're wonderful. I think she's a wonderful person.
Well, it actually does match very well with the Taylor Swift scenario. Because it's like, I'm a fan.
Right.
Right. I'm a fan. I like her. Right.
Right.
And just because I don't want to spend $3,000 to see her, does that mean I'm not that into her?
Now you're seeing where I'm coming from. This is
That's
very much the male plight.
Right.
You know, and you go, and you start to go, like, and men are not really romantics. I've said this on the podcast before. We think of the ending before we think of the beautiful what ifs.
Right.
So if you're in the mindset,
how do you wind up with anyone then?
I don't fucking know. I'm sitting here with you single. I'm just saying, I'm relating to this guy to also impart to her. It is not as personal as she's making it sound. Mm-hmm. It is personal because he reviewed how the match went, but he did the math, and he's not going to spend, 3 hours on, Jacqueline tickets or whatever the fuck her name is.
On It Went Well.
On It Went Well.
Right.
The concert, the It Went Well tour.
Well, I think that's actually very encouraging, because I think that it does feel personal so many of these times, and so many women, myself included, would probably go over everything that happened on that date and say, like, well, where did I turn him off? Where did he decide that he wasn't into me anymore? And I don't think it's like that, especially from what you're saying, is like, it's not.
Relationships are investments.
Right.
Absolutely. Like, we're going to invest my time, my effort, my money, to get to know someone. And, this is why these distance things, this is why the phone's so dangerous. You text on the same phone, you text your mom and dad and brother and your best friends. So it can get very close very quickly. I've been guilty of that. I've had that happen with me.
Right.
So and from my side, it was never like, I just wish I could fucking get the fuck out of here. Like,
the personal thing is like, the personal thing is like, well, what would I have had to have done, or what would it have to feel like for you to say, let's do this?
Well, that's the thing where, like, maybe he has an issue. Jared, put a mirror in front of me. Maybe I have an issue where it's like, I don't, maybe, where these apps, the game of it all, can lead you astray. That's,
right. Because it's not personal at all.
Right.
Here's
but it's also like, it's not his problem. This might be his problem playing out where you're the bumper car he's bumping off of.
No, it's true. But I'm just saying, like, there is a level. You can't say it's completely not personal. Like, it could have been anyone. Like, it's like, there is a personal layer to it of, like, someone you didn't feel something. Something was missing. It's not the person. It's not.
Yeah. It's the match.
Right.
Again, to make it less personal, it went well was not enough.
Right.
And again, come to here. Come. Let's. And there's again. I just don't think she's letting. Every relationship starts with that beautiful vibe. That's really good. And that vibe happens in zero consequence land, in the free view. Right. If you think of, like, when you get what gives you a free view? Like a video game, they used to give you a video game where you could play the first 3 levels, and then they'd be like, okay, now you got to buy the game.
Right.
He played the first 3 levels for free. And again, that's not that gross. You didn't hook up. You just caught each other, got to know each other.
Banter. Yeah.
You had some banter. Right. You got to know someone. And then he got to level 3, and it was like,
And honestly, this is, like you were saying much better than someone who lives 3 hours away sending you more mixed signals, continuing to text you after if they're not that interested.
Right.
They're saving your time.
Right. And it's like, this is the lesson for not getting together and taking a long time. This is the lesson because, again, if you're someone, I think, like, texting can be like sex for some people.
Right.
Some people, they can get carried away over text and feel too much from texting. And maybe you need to, like, in the same way that some people can't have sex on the first date and some people can.
Right.
So maybe this person, like, the lesson is like, yeah, I need to go on a date right away. Like, I can't put the time, the time of texting is not really working for me.
The issue, it kind of feels like for, if you're dating a guy who's older, right? This is maybe more likely to be his issue the older he gets. Because if it wasn't his issue, he might have, settle down with someone. Right. So it's tough because it's like the older you get, maybe the more you want to settle down, but the more the people that are your age or a little bit older are those people who like have a tougher time saying this went well, let me invest in it.
Listen, this is the plight of, I would say women getting older dating.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I'm not
like
trying to like talk shit on my own.
Because if you've
but
gotten to that age and you haven't settled down, you're more likely to be the person who has trouble
settling down,
committing to one person. Right.
And especially, the men used to a certain lifestyle, like used to like living a certain way. And, I was listening to Oversharing, the update that you guys did. It was wild. And, the guy that was hitting on the person behind the desk, and then his excuse was like, oh, I'm so used to being single. And it's like, I guess that's a good excuse, but it's really not.
Right.
Like, especially in the beginning when you're dating someone, like, you want to be obsessed. You want to be.
Yeah. And I mean, hindsight, I guess.
So zoned in that you're not like, oh, look at the cashier.
Right. Especially like in front of the person you're dating.
Right.
I mean, now looking back, maybe that should have been a bigger red flag for both of us. But,
right. Well, I don't know. Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Yeah.
But it's something. This email is great because it's relatable. It's also just, it is interesting the need to like, well, he's definitely got another wife. It's
well,
like,
you're
I don't know.
like you're trying to make meaning out of something that seems random.
Well, also to give meaning to other things. Him being like, I'm going to drive over and show up. Him showing up is his attempt at making something that's gotten a little too more serious than he would have liked, more casual.
By just showing up and not saying I'm going to show up?
Right. It wasn't a formal date. So
sounds
he was
romantic to me.
Yeah, well, I would say that was
sounds
more.
Like something out of a rom-com to me.
Right. And he might be using manipulation tactics.
Right.
But I would say, like, when I hear that he's like, I'll just show up, I'll just be there, and then he does it, you go, oh, he wants to he's trying to recreate a casual, he's trying to like invent casual.
I mean,
which it isn't at that point. He was trying to not admit that their text mattered more. By showing up. Oh, we're just two casual people.
You're saying he's trying to make it more casual by
yes.
showing. I think that's like a very wrong thing.
Stupid.
I mean, in terms of like what a woman would interpret. Look at the Jason Tartick.
I keep
what's
talking
her name?
about this.
What's her name? Kat Sadler.
Stickler.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I've had a day, as you know. Where their hard launch post is like, or the next post she writes about as she got off the plane. It's like she wasn't doing that thinking, oh, like we'll just like fuck for the weekend and then whatever.
Right.
Like, and he knows that.
He knows that
that's
too.
What I'm saying. Like, but you're saying he's saying that makes it more like to me. That's the same thing as this other thing. Like they kissed.
Well, because
and then she gets off the plane.
Right. Well, they've never met before. That's like I think like.
I guess
that's the only reason I could see.
To me, it's like that's what the R story. Like men have got to know that that's what the that's what the R story in our minds are made of. Is he just showed up and then we lived happily ever after.
I guess
because exactly what she wrote is like your dream, and you see that and you're like, oh, of course. When he tells me to get off the plane. He wants to be with me forever because it happened for them.
The way this was told, though, that's why it was like my first instinct was like to get inside the mind of a murderer. Was like he wants a fun hang,
right?
And I don't know Jason's story that he wrote on his.
But that's that's kind of like you're like, well, you're not the exception. You're the rule. You're the rule. You're not the exception. Like to me, I guess like that's the exception, which is why it's such an adorable story. It would have come off very different if they like hooked up and then he stopped texting her.
I agree. Let's do some awkward sex.
Yeah, let's do it.
But we want your awkward scenarios. We love awkward encounters. This is an awkward sex that we're doing. Okay.
Let's do it.
J&J All the Feathers. I'm currently traveling in France, right now with my 9-year-old daughter. About to surprise her with the Taylor Swift concert.
Fucking bitch.
This mom. Don't use vivid seats. We were in Paris this past week, and now we're in Lyon. Is that how it's Lyon?
Yes.
Did I do it right?
That's Lyon,
okay.
not
That's
Cannes
not
Lions.
Okay. I ain't lying. We're in Lyon. After 2 days in Paris, I opened my Hinge app out of curiosity. So
there we go.
A little spicy Hinge. A like from a particularly handsome Parisian caught my eye. Our conversation flowed like vin.
That means wine.
Wine, thank you.
For all of you uneducated people out there.
Me. I was staying at a small but classy boutique hotel. That's the move abroad, I think.
Yeah.
Go boutique.
Get a more... Stay away from the Marriott.
Yeah. Even though Marriott loved Bonvoy, would love some points. Okay. I was staying at a boutique hotel, and I told him we could meet at the hotel bar if my daughter fell asleep. She did. But even with a locked door, I still felt a little uneasy leaving her in the hotel room. I mean, that's how Madeline McCain went missing.
Madeline McCann.
Who's Madeline
I'm a big
McCann?
She's like I'm a big true crime fanatic. She's like someone who got... The parents were like on vacation with her. They left her in the room. They were like on the vacation with another family out, and then they went to dinner, but they like had someone go check on the kids every hour, and someone stole her. Yeah, it's a big. It was a big thing. Madeline McCann, as a true crime.
I can understand
aficionado.
why. I mean, this is literally a similar scenario.
Yeah, I would also feel uneasy leaving my kid.
So before I mean, you're in a foreign land. I don't know. I do it at a Bonvoy at a Marriott, not at a boutique hotel. But so before I met him, I MacGyvered a baby monitor of sorts by calling my hotel. I love the way people rationalize their own decisions.
Yeah.
With like, don't worry, I put a piece of tape on the door. No one's gonna get in that way. You know, like,
idea. Yeah.
And keeping my cell on the monitor of sorts by calling my hotel room from my cell, leaving the hotel phone off the hook, and keeping my cell in the bar with me so I could hear anything. If that makes sense, it does make sense. It sounds like it costs a lot of money. I also muted my end so I wouldn't wake her up. Anyways, I thought I would just meet him for a drink and maybe flirt, but he turned out to be super fucking hot, and we had great chemistry. We ended up being the last ones at the hotel bar and making out, but we had nowhere to go to finish the deal for the night. I honestly considered bringing him into my room and doing it as quietly as possible in the bathroom.
No.
Mommy!
This is giving
Why are
me
you
like...
shitting so pleasurably?
I'm getting a little bit of a secondhand trauma for this.
Listen, mama's gotta fuck.
I don't want to mom shame, but I think
pro
it's
this.
I think it's a little fucked up.
She thought about it. She didn't do it.
All right, she didn't do it.
We just said to be continued. She thought about it. She masturbated to it later.
You're on vacation with your kid.
I know, but
Why don't you do this on the week her dad has her?
Mama got a climax.
Sure.
Make the T-shirt. Betches moms.
Okay.
We just said to be continued. Resigned ourselves to a passionate but sexless night. Listen, I am Mr. Passionate but Sexless Night. That is like my move, okay? I think that's
put that on your hat.
Passionate but sexless.
Yeah, Mr. Passionate but Sexless Night.
This is like my move. Listen, you know how many bar makeouts I've done that
better than the real thing.
I'm okay with that. Listen, at 39, pizza and masturbating.
Leave it there.
There it is. We tried to get together the following night when he returned from a workday in London, but there were mass delays on the Eurostar. The universe may have been trying to hinder this rendezvous, but I was not giving up. I learned the hotel guests were allowed to reserve the sauna for themselves. This time with a bribe of room service crepes. I told my daughter I was going to get a massage, and she deadbolted the door with the instructions to not open it to anyone but me.
Okay.
Jordana is not in favor of this mothering.
I don't like it. I'm sorry.
Maybe
it's again. I don't have kids. I get you. You know, there's
deadbolt the door. Put on some TV.
It's just more like the amount of mental energy going into this thing while you're supposed to be on this like mother-daughter trip. I find is
that's going into something else.
Right. That's going into like how to creatively figure out how to fuck someone. and I would say this if this were the dad too, obviously.
I wonder how.
I just think it's a little.
The dad if there was a dad with a daddy-daughter trip, and he's like, "Lock the door, daddy, gotta fuck."
I feel like it was a little icky to me. I don't know.
I'm in favor of.
I wouldn't
can
like
understand.
if my mom did this.
I met my French lover at the hotel bar again. We headed towards our reserved area, or so I thought. Reception had reserved the wrong time and gave my reservation away when I was late. Oh, this is like getting the conference room. And having someone else be in there. Yeah, we got the 2 o'clock. We said we were going to be in there.
Excuse me.
Excuse me. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. We did reserve 2 o'clock here. That damn universe obstructing my sexcapade again. I told at this point, though, I would agree with you. Like, things have gone this awry that I'd be like, I'm going to get back to my daughter and watch Blue's Clues, in French.
Yeah. You got the concert. Come on.
I told reception that they needed to tell me when this new person was finished because they wrote down the wrong time. I declined their offer to meet for me to share the sauna with this person. Yeah, we're not looking for a 5-way. So Frenchie,
what everyone does in France.
Right. So Frenchie and I sat at a sofa near the bar while we waited. Just 2 people waiting to fuck in the sauna. If I hadn't been so ravenous for this man by this point, I would have appreciated this sexy buildup. After some more making out, I caught a glimpse of a man in a robe at the elevator. Deduced that this was our sauna usurper, grabbed my man's hand and bolted down the stairs. We made our way to the very elegant, I might add, sauna and immediately went at it. It was hot. No, literally hot as balls.
Sounds like the Heathrow Airport.
With my mind preoccupied with how to pull this tryst off, I somehow disregarded the little fact that the saunas are, by definition, steaming. I certainly didn't mind, as it's actually enhanced our experience. There were 2 chaise lounges and a shower in the room. We had incredible sex on one of the chaise lounges and then showered. After all this, we gathered and disposed of our towels and headed back up to the lobby. I mentioned how I would have to dodge the people at reception out of embarrassment, but he said it's actually not completely uncommon to reserve a sauna for such reasons over there.
That sounds like something a man who's trying to fuck you in the sauna would say. This is something every Frenchman does.
Totally normal. See, that's not water, that's cum on the wall.
We do this all the time.
Yeah, no.
It's very French.
This is what we do.
Do you want to live like the locals?
Right. What are you, a loser tourist? Doesn't fuck in the sauna and then hose each other off like elephants? But he said it's actually not completely uncommon. In fact, one of the employees passed us. Oh, au revoir. Done fucking?
I hope it wasn't the employee that had to clean the sauna after you were done.
As he was leaving his shift when we came up and gave us a cheeky smile. So vive la France and its sex positivity. Au revoir. MacGyver Marais. Mare.
Means mom.
Is that
French.
mom?
Yeah, Mare is mom.
I
took French in high school.
Okay.
Took French in high school, so I could say I'm a pretty big expert. I just spent 4 days in Cannes.
You're right. Fair. What do you think of this?
I can't think of anything I'd want to do less than have sex in a sauna.
In a sauna?
In a sauna? That's so hot. That's like...
I think it's hot.
You really?
Sweaty bodies rubbing against each other.
I feel like it's hard
slippery.
to breathe. Maybe more of a steam room is harder to breathe.
Right. Yeah,
sauna,
the steam room is
at
like...
least a dry heat.
It's dry. I like that there was a shower nearby so you could like put cold water with the hot. I'm into this.
You're
this
into
is
it.
hot. I mean, the daughter upstairs locked away.
Yeah.
It is a lot to get to like Mama
to me,
definitely
it's a lot
had
of
to
effort.
Fuck.
Yeah.
It was
to me, it's a lot of effort for like what's supposed to be a non. Again, I don't want to judge.
I am judging.
Judging.
I'm such a I'm so the type to think that like one thing means that like we shouldn't be doing this. I would have bailed 7,000 times. Like this French guy.
Okay, so you do
fuck
judge.
Too.
Good.
Yeah, I'm judging.
Yeah.
I would. There's a million times I would have bailed. I would have been like, what's this all for? I can
go
take a shower
and
I don't know. While
you're
my
here for
kid's in the
Taylor
other room.
Swift,
right?
Yeah.
But I gotta say, this will probably like carry her. Like this is like
I mean, it's hot. It's hot. I get
buildup.
it. I get it, and then it like it's forbidden because the daughter's upstairs, and it's like kind of just weird. I think because
it is a lot.
I don't know if it was like your friends upstairs or like even like
I do wonder.
It just feels like your kids upstairs. It just feels like icky to me.
I do wonder if it was a divorced dad with his daughter, how people would feel about this
I would think it was equally gross.
Right. I do think it's like a little bit more.
Like the point of the trip is that you're with your kid.
Right.
Not like not like.
But I'm sure they spent time during the day together. I'm sure she wasn't like fucking at a French fry hut.
Also, just like the way that it could have gone wrong, how embarrassing it would be for like the kid. I don't know. I guess I'm sensitive to that.
It would have been a bad thing if her kid did get taken.
Yeah, I would say.
And then they're like, "Where were you?"
It's in the sauna. Fucking the guy I met on Hinge.
After we waited on a couch like it was a train station.
Yeah. No judgment. Some judgment.
I would call this a slippery sauna
slope
sex romp. No, I lost it.
You would be into sex in a sauna?
Yeah, I mean, sex. I'm into sex anywhere, but you know.
Have you ever had sex in a sauna?
I don't think so. Had sex in a shower. That's every comedian has ever who's ever lived has done a joke about sex in a shower is not as good as so.
At least there's a bench in a sauna.
Listen, if
now I'm wary of using any hotel sauna. Just private saunas.
Well, it's all disgusting if you really think into it. Like if you go to the sauna at a gym, I go to the sauna.
Well, I'd put a towel down or something.
Yeah, the towel's just what?
Cum towel, I guess. Someone else's cum towel. All right,
let's move on to the next one. We did it. Keep sending your sex story. Awkward encounters. All awkwardness. UUP at Betches.com. UUP at Betches.com.
All right.
Let's do another email.
One. All right. Hi, J&J. I've been a silent listener for a long time now, and I absolutely love the pod. Seriously, it's helped me through a lot, so thank you. But now I really need some advice.
We got you.
I'm 26. I've been single for about 4 years, and have recently decided I want to be more intentional and serious about dating.
Good for you.
That's the girl you want to avoid.
Right. I would.
More intentional?
That sentence. Ta-ta.
Last week, I got a DM from a friend of a friend asking if I was single and saying she wants to set me up with her boyfriend's brother.
Love it. Love everything about that.
That's the best. I was a little hesitant, but willing to give it a try. My friend invited me to hang out with the group, including him.
Love that.
The next day, and we had a great time. Great way to meet.
I think this is I think that's a good friend. Listen, we talk a lot of shit where we can be negative about like setups and how they're done.
It's a great way to do it.
This is perfect. This is of age. 26, big groups are still getting together.
Right.
36, someone might be like, I don't have this type of thing.
Not having a pregame.
Right. Like 26, this is like, I gotta say,
you can make it casual, but like fun. But see if you at a formal date, you can see if you have a chemistry.
And not to belittle the 26-year-old men who might be listening to this. Like, you kind of there's shame and consequence built into this. Like, they can't be a monster.
Right.
They're the friends, the boyfriend's friends. You got eyes on you, so to speak. You got aunts watching.
Okay, so we spent the night together just talking, and he seemed like a really great guy. When I left, I told him balls in his court, no pressure. But I would be interested in seeing him again.
Okay.
He texted me the next day. We chatted a bit, and then he asked me to hang out. Then he dumped me. Oh. All right, so let's read these. Let's read these texts.
Okay, ready?
Okay.
I'll be him. You be her.
Okay.
Are you free this weekend? We could go to the beach and get dinner after.
Yeah, I'm free. That sounds great.
I'm sorry. Okay, I didn't read it right.
So he texted her a night before at like 9. He said, "Are you free this weekend?" She texted that morning, "Yeah, I'm free. It sounds great." And then by 3:30, he texts again.
Is the next day? Or so they have a date set in the morning. Then he's basically make the plan.
Yeah, I'm free. Sounds
hypothetical beach.
He just reach out. He says, "Yeah, let's do it."
And he gives a hypothetical plan. She's like, "I'm in," and now it's time for him to like give the actual plan, and this is what he comes back with. I'm sorry. I think I jumped the gun. I was thinking about what you said about dating and how guys just date to date, and I feel like I'm going to be another one of those guys. I don't know how committed I am to it right now, and in the end, I don't want it to lead to wasting your time. I hope I didn't waste your time.
Damn, had to get my hopes up first, LOL. But all good. Appreciate the honesty. And then she said his reasoning is because he's not looking to date, which is fine and respectful. But my question is, should I have not said anything that first night about what I was looking for? We briefly talked about dating history, and I had said my last relationship was 4 years ago, and I've dated since, but nothing serious, because a lot of guys don't want to commit nowadays.
These boys nowadays with their Tinders and
I never
with
actually
the Tinder and the nudie magazines.
These fellas. I never actually said I was looking for a serious relationship, but I guess he assumed from what I said. I didn't think anything of it, but now I feel like I scared him away. I do want a serious relationship, so I know I should just be happy that he cut off my head earlier rather than later, but I can't help but wonder if I hadn't said anything, maybe it would have just worked out. I was excited about him and felt like he was into me after he made a plan to hang out, and maybe he only backed out because I scared him away. I'm trying to not get myself thinking negatively about dating, but I'm finding it hard to find anyone who actually wants a serious relationship right now. Any tips on how to weed people out, but also not scare anyone away? Appreciate all your help. Scary or just honest? Great question.
It's a great question. I love the email. She did everything right. There's no such thing as scaring a guy away. We are not chipmunks that you're trying to feed in the park.
It feels that way.
Sure.
It can feel that way.
And it
right.
feels counterintuitive to do everything she did. Everything she did was correct.
Right.
You met him amongst friends. He is a friend of a friend, which means you have commonalities. The people that you like him. The people that he likes like you. This is all great. You told him what your intentions are. Hey, I'm dating to see if I could find the right person. His interpretation of that might lead him to get ahead of himself and make his heart go a little faster. But that's not your problem. Mm-hmm. He is not ready or mature enough to engage with someone in a way where it might not work out. And he's so afraid of something not working out that he's not allowing himself to enjoy someone's company and see if it ever could.
You think that's his...
That's it. He's 26.
Not personal?
Not personal. I think also, again, as I said in the beginning of the email, there's eyes on this. There's the friend of the friend. There's consequence.
Right.
So he's
and she's
doing
made her
the
intention.
math.
He doesn't want you to say, I told you I was looking for something serious.
Right. I told you, and now I'm the bad guy because I did. And some of this.
Well, why did he ask her out in the first place? Just did it.
I don't think he's like put that all together yet. Again, this is like, that's a man to me. Like, oh yeah, we should go to the beach. And he's like, oh God, oh, I got to make a plan. Oh, she was looking for something. And I don't know, I don't know if holding back information about what you're looking for is like, I just don't see it. I just don't see the pros in that.
I do think if she didn't say that, maybe they would have gone out, but I also don't think it would have gone anywhere long term. Like, it would have just prolonged this thing. Maybe maybe they could have had more fun for a longer time, but I think it would have ended and she would have been more annoyed the longer it went on.
Right. And I guess the thought process of like is the same as a guy saying he's 6 foot when he's 5'8". Well, if she just sees how great I am, right, then she'll be in, and she's kind of saying the same thing. She's like, well, once he sees how great we are together, how great I am, he will be so not afraid of committing.
Well, is that not possible?
I mean, it is possible. As I say that, you're like, I guess, but then you can't be upset when your time is wasted,
Right.
Like,
well, that's the thing. It's like another way this could have been written is like, I told him let's say this was 3 months later. I told him from the very first time I met him, I was looking for something serious. And then he dates me for 3 months and then he decides he can't commit. Like, why didn't he do that earlier? So I do think it could be in any scenario you could have
I think a lot of like, I don't know. I don't want to like give in to the idea that like lie to people to make them be your significant other. That's not the good way to go. I don't know.
I guess my question is, like, could it, if she didn't say anything and they went on a few dates, could he have gotten there?
Yeah, maybe. But then he could always say, I'm not ready for a relationship.
Right. Well, that's kind of like, this is sort of...
If it's on your mind, it's always on your mind.
This is sort of a much faster version of boyfriend or fuck off.
Yes.
Right? Where it's like, and some people would say, some men, I think, respond to the boyfriend or fuck off situation as like, well, like, that's too intense for me. Like, right. I want to revisit this without committing. Well, right? How am I supposed to just commit when I come back?
Right.
Out of nowhere.
Right. Well, this goes back to the mathematical equation. She's not really admitting they had a first date. I mean, like, this isn't him. I'd like to go out with you. I'd like to go out with you again. You had the friend. I think this is why the way they got together first is like the move. I think a lot of people are so afraid of scaring a guy off that they become boring to a guy. Mm-hmm. So it's like, what are you doing this weekend? Because you're waiting for him to like come back at you and be like, well, let's go on a date.
You want them to
Saturday.
set the pace.
Right.
Yeah.
You want them to set the pace. I think the what to do in the talking phase is literally say, I'm having this party. Come to the hang I'm having where you shall be judged and smelled by my friends.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So like 4th of July, we're July 2nd or 3rd. You might be texting with someone. I don't think the move is, what are you doing for the 4th of July? The move is, I'm going to a barbecue with a bunch of friends. It's been really fun to talk to you. You should come. Bring friends too.
You should come.
That is like, oh my God, you do fun things. You have friends. Now you're inviting them to a place where it's actually a safer first date. So this woman writing in had the best first date you could have.
Right.
Because again,
There's
she was let
familiarity.
down, but she had the familiarity of all the friends, but like you got to meet at your best around your friends.
Right.
You got to be you. You could not be you in front of your friends.
Didn't want to go on.
And he still didn't like you. But I'm saying, like, he, again, to go into the
Right.
theme of this episode, he did the math.
Well, that's why it can feel like when you're dating and you get this kind of response. She's saying she's gotten this before, right? Or it feels like this is happening. It can feel like, what are these men looking for?
Right. Well,
What do they think they're going to find in someone else that I don't have? Like, what is the big?
Well,
they're kind of
I
like,
would
well,
say,
like, how do I play it? Like, I can understand why someone's like, how do I don't understand what these people want that they don't think they're going to get from me.
I am speaking from the perspective of delusional male. I am that.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm being honest. I think.
What do
this
you
guy-
think is out there
Right.
for you? Nothing.
Right. And it's you. The later I get in life, the older I get, the more guilty I feel about this.
Okay.
Because it's like, who am I? I'm a fucking idiot in a hat right now. You know, like I don't think I'm such a catch that like, and I've been accused of this. I went on Girls Gotta Eat.
Mm-hmm.
It's so funny to me because some woman in the comments, she wrote, Jared thinks he can get all the women, and when he's almost 40 and he drinks all the time.
Sounds like fun.
And I was like, are you talking about me or Raina? Because if a woman does that and is single and fun and on her own terms,
maybe.
Well, I'm just saying, like,
the commenters are all women, so I
Right,
think
well,
the
I
male
mean,
commenters, they might be saying
they could say that
something
about a woman.
similar,
I
yeah,
totally
yeah.
agree. I'm just saying, wanting something delusional makes you look like kind of an asshole.
Right.
And I do understand that because it's like, who are you to even like stay? But I do
Well,
think
I can just feel like if you get that a lot,
right. Well,
where it's like I'm looking, it just feels like they want something to be. It feels like if you're dating someone, they want you to be perfect, and I think more women are willing to work something.
Right. Well, I think it's I think it's the difference. It's two things. It's that cab light thing.
Right.
Like, is he in the mindset of being in a serious relationship?
Right. And it's just
This
26,
guy is not.
probably
He's
not, yeah.
And he said to her, I'm not.
Yeah.
And he's questioning that. So that's his right. But it's also that you think this like glowing goddess and this match is going to be so. I do have that delusion of this thing that like is very, you bought
an apartment, so I mean, I'm sure you've seen that when you're looking at apartments
You
or
can
something,
see
and
it
you're
all.
like, well, I'm actually looking for something with like a bigger bedroom, and they're like, well, have you seen your budget? Like,
Right.
what do you think? What do you think is out there for you
Right.
at that price?
You know
Like,
what? You know what it's a lot like? If you watch any like coming of age movie,
Yeah,
I think men think of their match like that.
like she's just gonna magically appear.
This
the love
cool
of his
girl.
life.
We
yeah.
had Delaney Rowe on this. She does a great job of like she'll like cool girl from an 80s movie.
Yeah.
It's like
Topanga.
that.
You
like,
think Topanga is just going to show up at your doorstep?
You're Topanga.
Yeah.
Like it is. I think if you watch those are all written by men usually.
Right.
The coming of age movie where the nerd and the woman and
Those guys settle down at like 16.
Right.
What's going on?
Well, they got there. The way they write the men and the women. It's
Right.
very much in the way that I think men think. And he had a nice conversation with you. I'm sure he thinks you're great. Taylor Swift is awesome. He's a huge fan. Is he gonna spend?
He's not gonna spend $3,000 to see
That's
her.
it.
Yeah.
Sorry to reduce you to a ticket price, but
I mean,
that's what it is.
That's
the
what it
only one
is.
we
That's
got.
that's what we're talking about here.
Let's
It's
play some
economics
games.
of dating.
That is.
There's our episode title.
It's a great name.
Okay.
Let's play some games.
Let's do it.
Red flag or deal breaker? J&J, love the pod. I was dating this 29-year-old straight guy, and one of the very first icks to come up was finding out he wears thongs. The first time thongs got you. That's the first time we slept together. I was in literal shock when he took his pants off. There it was. Full
That's what every man wants to hear.
Full male ass out and about. I said something like, "Oh, these are different," and his casual response was, "They're comfortable." No. To make it even worse, they were the MeUndies brand. They make male thongs and MeUndies, so they had cartoon patterns with little faces everywhere.
I have those.
It's hilarious. I asked him about the choice of undergarment again another time, and he told me that after he had his vasectomy, he was looking for something comfortable that would hold his balls snugly, and so he found the thong and never switched back.
Wouldn't briefs do the trick?
Yeah, I would think so.
Right? Why does it need to go in your ass in order to?
I'm trying to think of what I've seen. I don't know.
It's tighter then because it's like closer to your. It's a holster.
Hitched up.
Yeah.
So I asked him about his choice. He found the thong, never switched back. No matter the occasion, from playing sports to sleeping, he's got the thong on. He never once wore boxers or briefs in the 2 months we were together. I gotta say, good for him. I've slept with my fair share of straight men, but I've never once seen a guy wearing a thong. I was definitely a bit turned off at first. It was definitely a big turn off at first, but I tried to tell myself that he was a great guy who treats me well, and I'd be the only one ever seeing this. In the end, however, there were other things that turned me off physically and made me question his sexuality. So I decided to end it due to a general lack of attraction. But red flag or deal breaker, he wears a thong loud and proud. Signed G-string and scream. It's a great email. What do you think?
I think the explanation made sense. I think if that was the only thing, I'd probably be fine with it. I just wouldn't understand. I feel like I wouldn't understand it. I would think it was very uncomfortable. Like, I don't even really like wearing thongs that much. They're like uncomfortable. You wear them for a long time, they're uncomfortable. Right. It's like in your ass.
Well, here's what my question would be. Let's take him at his word that is a functional.
He gave a valid explanation.
Functional explanation, right? But I did talk about Skims.
Right.
Feeling better about myself in Skims. And it is a little weird as a straight guy myself to say, I feel sexy in these underwear.
Right.
But if that was the reason, is that a turnoff to women? To be like, to feel sexy? Because
is it that he feels sexy or he feels comfortable?
He says comfortable, but I actually don't. I think he feels good about himself in them.
Okay.
I think I can't believe. I don't know. I think he has a little bit of
It's hard to believe that that's the real answer, just because I don't think of a thong as comfortable really at all.
And also, men have gotten vasectomies
compared to briefs. Like, those seem very comfortable.
Right. And the vasectomy argument, I don't know. I've never heard of this as a vasectomy thing. Do
you know many men who've gotten vasectomies?
No, but you would think that you'd hear that this is when you get a vasectomy, your balls feel untethered.
But again, why wouldn't briefs solve that issue?
Right. So I do think he feels sexy in them. And she says, and I think when she says a question of sexuality.
Right. That's an important piece of it, I think, because it's not a standalone thing.
Well, I believe that he knows his own sexuality, but I do
think. It's more I think she's getting turned off by maybe him not being as masculine as she wanted him to be.
And I do think it's not masculine to be I feel sexy in whatever I'm wearing. It's just not a thing you hear men say a lot. So
I don't know, if a man was I feel sexy in this in this suit, I'd be like, okay.
It'd be even hearing that, I'm I don't know if I've ever heard a man say.
I don't know the context that it would.
Right.
But
how do you feel?
I wouldn't
sexy.
I wouldn't be turned off by that.
All right. It seems as though she was turned off. Well, John Tucker Must Die. They wear them. And that's the explanation, is they're breezy and comfortable.
Right, but that's also part of the joke, right? It's not.
Right, but look at John Tucker, Jesse Metcalf in that movie. Do you look at him and go, he looks good in the thong? Do you see that and you go,
he does look good, but I think he would look equally good in briefs.
Right.
I don't know. It would be a red flag, not a deal breaker to me.
So what's the equivalent for me? What if a woman never wore a thong? What? I'm trying to think of how to place this.
She doesn't wear a bra? I don't know.
No bra, and then she was I just don't like the feeling of a bra.
Well, what if she wears boxers? She only wears boxers.
It wouldn't matter to me.
Well,
I get maybe it would. I don't know. Maybe I'd
Right.
see her in like a dress and I'd be like, "There's like it looks like you're wearing a diaper."
right.
You
That's
know,
what I'm saying. Like maybe it would.
Yeah, maybe it would. I don't know.
I
It
think
wouldn't be a
it's-
deal
but
breaker.
but that would almost make more sense to me because boxers are more comfortable than most women's underwear.
Right. I don't know what the. Yeah, it wouldn't be a deal breaker.
Well, something that would be like unfeminine, I guess, might
Unfeminine?
be a turnoff. That wouldn't be weird if that's.
Right. If she. I don't know. I don't think it would be a deal breaker for me.
Right. It'd be a little bit of a red flag, just because I wouldn't necessarily buy it, because it just doesn't. I don't get why a thong would be so comfortable.
Right.
It's just more like, I guess the explanation doesn't make sense to me. But I like that he was like giving an actual
No,
like,
he gave-
explanation of
right.
why it made sense to him, instead of just being like, "Why do you think it's weird?"
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
No. He's
Like-
confident in what he likes what he likes.
Yeah, and he gives.
I don't
an
think the reason
explanation.
he gave is. I don't believe the reason he gave. I think he likes how he feels in him. But
Sure. I mean, to me, if that's what he's
or
into,
he believes that. Yeah. Good for him. I gotta say.
go for it. Yeah. Okay. Hi, J&J. Love you endlessly. I'll get right to it. Red flag or deal breaker. They say credit card to any cashier after they give them the total. My boyfriend of 6 years recently started doing this, and it's driving me insane. Here's an example. Cashier. The total is $5.99. My boyfriend. Credit card. And then he just stands there waiting until the cashier has to then awkwardly point to the card swipe machine, which is already ready for his credit card. Then he puts his card in. Unless they say cash or card, why are you just swiping the card when the machine lights up? The man is 31, acting like an 80-year-old. It's obviously just a red flag for me, but it's infuriating, especially since he never used to do this. From insert, swipe, or tap fetch.
Do you think he knows it annoys her and he's doing this to fuck with her?
If this is my boyfriend for 6 years, I'd be like, why do you keep saying that?
Right.
Like, to me, it's weird that she's writing into us and she
Right.
hasn't been like, stop saying that. That's weird.
Credit, and it is weird. It's kind of like rude to the wait staff, like credit card.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
It'll be
I'm surprised she hasn't-
$5.99, please. Credit card.
I'm surprised she hasn't called him out. Like, this was something I would say to Mike immediately. Like,
Right. It's a new thing.
why are you
too.
doing this?
Right.
You sound like a weirdo.
Why don't you just take out your card and do it?
Right.
Right.
I think it's weirder. It says more about their relationship that she hasn't said anything to him about it.
This was one of the best parts of Abroad to me. They are in tap land.
Oh, yeah.
It is
no
tap,
cards
tap,
anywhere.
Tap.
You pay at the table with the tap.
Loved it. Every second of it was so happy. It's such a breeze, and
I don't think I pulled out the card at all.
never touched it.
It's great.
It's great. Thank you, Spotify. Let's do one more. Dear J&J and Company, this story is about my ex-husband, so it's about a red flag at the time. Now it would be a deal breaker. We were visiting my dad. Since he lived 3 hours away, it was a weekend visit. My father was a fucking delight, so visiting him was fun, easy for both of us.
Okay.
To
How-
you.
right. I was like, it was a fucking
your
delight.
ex-husband is like,
Yeah.
fuck, thank God I don't have to drive to see this guy again.
That's a red flag if someone refers to their father as a fucking delight.
You have to understand.
No one likes your parents as much as you
yeah,
do.
But yeah. Whenever I go to visit him, my ex would ask to come with me. My dad would take us to great restaurants, tell funny stories. I mentioned this to point out that my ex was not there against his will. Okay. Anyways, we were there in the winter, and my ex walked over to the wall and adjusted his thermostat without asking anyone. I thought this was incredibly rude. First of all, it's not your house. The homeowner presumably has the thermostat where they like it. You're a guest. Put on a sweater. Second of all, sounds like the divorce went well. Second of all, you're attending to your own immediate comfort without thinking of anyone else. If I'm a hotel in a hotel room with other people and it's no one's home, I still check with the others before unilaterally deciding to adjust the thermostat. So red flag or deal breaker? You change the thermostat in someone else's home. Love you, signed, a betch with a sweater. What do you think?
If it's one thermostat for the whole house,
Yeah.
that's very weird.
It's weird.
If it's like there's a different area that you're staying in the house and you adjust the thermostat, I would be like, great. He thinks he's at home.
Right.
It's,
The
to
way
an
she
extent.
explains the
She
comfort
explains
with
it
the dad,
right.
it's like actually more normal than weird.
Right.
It is weird.
It is weird. I think it is a little rude. I would agree with
Right.
that. I wouldn't do it. But I might say if I went to like Mike's parents' house and it was very hot or very cold, I might be like, all right, like, can you adjust
Right.
the thermostat?
There's three options. Talk to your significant other. Hey,
Yeah.
what are we going to do about the heat in here? 2, do it yourself the way this guy did it, which is actually the strangest way to go.
Who's the alpha now?
Right. Gotcha, bitch. And then Grandpappy's going to have to sweat tonight out. Or the third option, which is also a better option than what he did, is do it behind everyone's back.
Right.
Who touched the thermostat? I'd be sitting there. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Someone touched it? It felt pretty good.
I did one scream at Mike when I was at his house when we were sleeping there, and it was so hot. And he was like, well, I don't know, like, how to. This was his parents moved. He's like, I don't know how to. I'm like, well, I can't sleep. I'm like, I'm opening the windows. I'm doing all these things. The next morning, he turns on the ceiling fan. I freaked out. I was like, where the fuck were you last night?
Right. Guess he wasn't so hot.
Yeah.
Just didn't want to make a move.
Seriously.
Well, we solved dating again.
We did it. I'm proud of us. We'll be back
in
on
a
Sunday.
brief hour and a half.
Look at us.
Back next week.
We had a lot to talk about.
A lot to talk about. Back Sunday. Boom.
Bye. The U Up podcast is produced by Belle Roman and Candice Maniga. Editing by Belle Roman. Social media by Candice Maniga. Be sure to follow at u.up.podcast on Instagram and send us your emails to uup@betches.com.